This video is brought to you by Ridge Wallet, a slim front pocket wallet available in carbon fiber and titanium. With more than 250,000 sold, a lifetime guarantee and free shipping, get 10% off with the code GOLDFISH at ridgewallet.com. Hello everyone, it's Seth, probably better known as Saffron Olive, and it's time for another Instant Deck Tech. So as you know, this week is Guilds Week, and we've finally come to the end. We got one more guild to talk about, and that is Dimir. So today, we have a sweet Dimir Midrange deck from Todd Stevens, played it on the SCG vs. Live series. So I'll link that video down below if you want to see Todd messing around with the deck, and I'm excited to talk about this one. In some ways, Dimir is the hardest guild to talk about because it is the least focused of the guilds. If you look at the other guilds, Boros is aggro, Golgari is graveyards, Izzet is all about playing spells and benefiting from playing spells, and Selesnya is all about going wide with tokens. Dimir, its mechanic is Surveil, which is kind of just like a good value-y scry mechanic. So unlike the other guilds, we kind of just got a good stuff deck today with a lot of powerful cards in our colors, some tricks, but good removal, good cards, and it should be interesting. So a quick reminder before we break down Dimir Midrange for Guilds of Ravnica Standard. If you enjoy this deck and you want to see it made into videos, take a minute, click the like button, the subscribe button, leave a comment, anything you can do to support your deck, because whichever deck is most popular gets a shot at being made into videos next week. So Dimir Midrange starts off with some card advantage stuff, and really the theme of this deck, like I was saying, it isn't super focused like the other decks. Instead, we're trying to generate value, basically. Draw some cards, play some powerful things, back that up with good removal, some light counters, some discards. So we start off with Theft of Sanity and Twilight Prophets, which are two creatures that are fine in the air on their own, getting in some damage, but also generate card advantage. Theft of Sanity, the new Night Veil Spectre, hits our opponent. We get to grab one of their top 3 cards, put it in exile. We can cast it as long as it's there. The other 2 cards get milled. So this is a creature that can spiral out of control really quickly. If the opponent doesn't have a blocker or removal spell right away, it's just not only drawing us an extra card every turn, but drawing us one of our opponent's best cards every turn, because we get to look at 3 cards. So it spirals into more removal, so we can keep attacking, into counter spells, into whatever we need. And then Twilight Prophet is just a one-of, but in the late game, we ascend and we have like a reverse Dark Confidant where we're getting a card each turn and we are gaining life and draining our opponent equal to its converted mana cost. We follow it up with Doom Whisperer, which is kind of our big finisher, and we've talked about this one in a couple of the guilds. Basically, Doom Whisperer is just such a good card on rate, being a 6/6 flying treble for 5, not even counting the upside of surveilling and getting things in the graveyard and improving your draws. It is just one of the premier threats from the Guilds of Ravnica set. And it kind of just transcends the guilds. Like, if you are playing black, you're going to be thinking about playing Doom Whisperer because it's just such a good standalone card on its own. We also have a couple of more interesting flyers, and I guess that's kind of the theme of this deck. If you look at our threats, they all have flying, so we're chipping in for evasive damage, disrupting our opponent, drawing some cards, and hopefully turning that into a victory. Dream Eater, just a one-of. I really like this card. I almost think we should be playing more of it. Comes down, bounces something, surveils 4, which is almost always going to set up a good draw on our next turn. And then Night Veil Predator is kind of like a flying removal spell. 4 mana is kind of a lot, but the combo of Hexproof, Flying, and Death Touch means it's going to block and take down something, and if we have an empty board, we can start chipping in for 3 in the air, so it's actually a very powerful effect. Our last creature is Laza of the Multifarious, which is actually a 4-of in this deck. So 2 mana get a 1/3, it surveils, which is fine, but then it can turn into the things we have in our graveyard. So on one hand, Laza is just a good early game blocker. If we're playing against a red deck, having a 1/3 on turn 2 actually shuts down a lot of their early game offense. And then in the late game, we can do some really cool tricks where we like turn into a Theft of Sanity to draw some cards. Or if our opponent tries to kill Laza, we can turn into a Night Veil Predator to have Hexproof and trigger the removal spell. So it offers a lot of value as the game goes along with being an early game blocker to shut down those aggressive starts from some of our opponents. As far as the spells in our deck, we get a bunch of removal. Cast Down, Murder, Ferocious Contempt. Pretty much between these cards, we should be able to deal with pretty much whatever our opponent's doing. Essence Scatter, kind of like a preemptive removal spell, counters a creature on the way down. Then we have Thought Eraser as a way to pick apart our opponent's hand, do some surveilling along the way, and we follow that up with a bunch of card draw. Notion Rain, draw 2, surveil 2, take 2 damage for 3 mana is actually a very good rate. When you're surveilling 2 and then drawing 2, your odds of hitting the cards you need go up quite a bit. Discovery Dispersal is a card that has really impressed me. It's kind of an expensive surveilling preordain on the front half, but then the back half offers some interesting instant speed value in the late game. And then Argo's Bloodfast, just a card advantage generating engine, and with things like Doom Whisperer, we can get down under 5 life whenever we want and flip it around, and then start gaining back huge chunks of life with Temple of Laza. As far as the mana base, Field of Ruins to deal with our opponent's non-basic lands, the kind of typical Guilds of Ravnica standard mana base, 8 dual lands, some basic lands. In the sideboard, we get a bunch of counters for control. Negate, Disdainful Stroke, Sorcerer's Spyglass, good for shutting down things like Teferi, Thought Eraser to attack our opponent's hand. Then we have some repeatable card advantage engines. Blood Operative, really good at grinding against control decks because it keeps coming back from the graveyard as we surveil, and it's fine against aggro as well thanks to lifelink. Argo's Bloodfast for more card advantage, and then for aggro in specific, we have Ritualista as a sweeper, great against tokens and Boros and mono red, deadweight just to kill early game creatures, and that is Dimir Midrange for Guilds of Ravnica Standard, and that's our instant deck tech for today. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will talk to you soon.
Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, help us out by clicking that like button down below. And to keep up on all the latest and greatest, click that subscribe button. And don't forget to hit that bell icon to get alerts whenever we have new videos. And if you want to, check out some of our other sweet videos here and here.